Okay, I guess we'll get started. So this is a design review board meeting Thursday, February 17th. Call the meeting to order. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda? Maybe we should state that the item number 4 is being postponed or continued.
Yeah, is that, which one is it?
Cass?
Yeah, that is, yeah.
So without that on the agenda, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Need a second? Michelle?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Election of officers. Did we not do that last time?
No,
I don't think so.
we missed it last time.
We did it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we just did it, but that was a year ago.
Yeah, but we're only have 3 of us tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe we should postpone until.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, we'll pass on that and pass on item 4 and reopen the
The minutes too.
the minutes, I'm sorry. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes of January 20th? Alicia?
I will move that we approve the minutes of January 20th.
20,
Okay,
22.
22.
Michelle?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, item 5 is reopening of DRB 2137, Jillian Ireman, application for tenant improvements for a new retail space on the ground floor and living space above at 273 Beaver Avenue. This is properties owned by Ireman Creations LLC, located in the limited commercial C1 zone. The application will be reviewed against the criteria of municipal code, chapter 17444040 to 1744-100 design review criteria. This is a reopening of a quasi-judicial hearing.
and I would just state, Mike, if I can, real quickly, that I think in the packets, there were materials which refer to the appeal. I just want to clarify that the reason there was a appeal or application for an appeal was because the applicant wanted to reserve that right. And because of the timing of this, we asked that, they can go ahead and make that application, but that is actually just on hold because you must make a motion to reopen, and then that would have to be seconded and approved by Robert's rules too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds fine. Yeah. Do I hear a motion to reopen the hearing?
I move that we reopen the hearing.
Michelle?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So this is, I actually asked staff to reopen, to consider reopening, putting it back on the agenda. And as a full disclosure, I did have a conversation with Ms. Ireman's stepfather, and I want to make sure that's in the record. And I didn't, as a result of that conversation, I didn't make any commitment to reopening, but he, I felt that based on the fact that Ms. Ireman didn't have a chance to fully respond to the requirements that we laid out. I thought it would be wise to at least reopen the hearing and see what can be done. So let's see. Does anyone object to the jurisdiction of DRB to hear the matter at this time? Does any commission member believe he or she has a conflict of interest or personal bias? Has any commission member had any ex parte contact or made a site visit?
Site visit.
Michelle, site visit?
Oh, yes, site visit. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Pertinent criteria to be considered are noted in the staff reports and listed in the criteria sheets posted at the meeting, on the meeting page of the city's website. Testimony, arguments, and evidence must be directed toward the criteria or other criteria in the comprehensive plan or municipal code, which the person testifying believes to apply to the decision. Failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the decision maker and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal based on that issue. Prior to the conclusion of the initial evidentiary hearing, this is a rehearing. Any participant may request an opportunity to present additional testimony, arguments, or evidence regarding the application. The DRB shall grant such requests by continuing the public hearing or leaving the record open for additional written testimony, arguments, or evidence. Persons who testify first shall receive recognition from the chair, state their full name and mailing address, and if appearing in a representative capacity, identify whom they represent. Do we have a presentation by the applicant? Do we have a staff report first?
Do you have anything you want to add?
No, you've essentially covered the points that were raised in the staff report.
Okay. So do we have a presentation by the applicant?
Yes, we do.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yes.
Good
Yes, I
evening,
have my
everyone.
attorney. Yeah, just to say, I'm Jillian, I'm here, but I have my attorney to speak at least first, if not for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm the person of whom she spoke. I'm Christian. I am Christian Zupancic, 615 Broadway Street, Suite 216, Seaside, Oregon, 97138. I'm here representing Ireman Creations LLC and Jillian Ireman. So thanks for allowing us to present to everybody tonight. Can everybody hear me okay?
Sure. Yeah.
Good. And did everybody get a chance to get the exhibit packet that we had filed earlier? It's got 7 exhibits in it.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I have the ability to share via Zoom or
I think we can, Christian. Yeah, let me do it. Okay.
is that possible? Okay.
Try that. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I can share because I know I can't. That's not always the case. So 1 second. Is that working?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. All right, well, thank you for letting me share that. So the reason that we're here is basically to talk about the third condition. I'll try to keep the points here pretty concise, just so you know where we stand. Ms. Ireman and through Ireman Creations LLC, she just has issue with that third condition. The one that talks about having wood shingles on the north and the east facades of the building. And I'm sure everybody's familiar with that particular condition. I've included as a part of the exhibit packet, this exhibit 1, which is the actual appeal that we filed. I won't really go over it. It's probably not necessary, but it does help sum up the arguments that we had regarding that third condition and going into the appeal. So if you'd like to refer to it, it's there because it does go into quite a bit of detail. But really the basis for which we are trying, what we are really after on this is to try to either reverse or modify that particular third condition. The reason for wanting that is because Ireman Creations, Ms. Ireman, she doesn't necessarily want wood shingles. It was never part of the design intent in the first place. The original architect, the contractor, they both recommended hardy plank, which is that lap siding that she currently has, basically just replacing it. One reason for hardy plank is that, well, a few of them actually, it's really durable against coastal rains and high winds. And number two, it's a lot easier to maintain than wood. And number three, which is an important point, it's rated non-combustible. And that is important for fire safety reasons. It's also important in Miss Ireman's case, or Ireman Creations, because you have Corbin's, which is right next to it, less than 3 feet away. So you've got these buildings that are really close together, and it's important to have fire considerations in mind, even with siding, it's an important consideration. So to help you see some of this stuff, if you look at Exhibit 2, and hopefully this is coming up here. This is, I'm looking at Exhibit 2, page 1 of 3 right now. And you can see Corbin's, you can see Miss Ireman's building here. Are you able to see my cursor?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. All right, that helps. So you can see right here between the buildings, pretty close together. I'll scroll down a little bit. This is between the two buildings. Not a lot of space. So this kind of thing, this is actually the east facade going all the way up there. And that would be tough, and it would not necessarily be fire safe to have wood shingles on that side. This is the view from the view of Corbin's, the top of Corbin's, as I understand it. So again, really, really close. And one of the main reasons that the architect and the contractor just didn't recommend wood shingles in the first place. They wanted to go with kind of the more fire safe lap siding. So the next point is that, and I really just have 3 points here. This is the second one. The reasons that underlie the third condition. I definitely read through the DRB's original notice of decision, and I understood all the points as to why the DRB went the direction that it did. And on the surface, I can see, again, how it ended up that way. However, I obviously in the appeal, I took issue with some of the fact finding that occurred as a part of that original notice of the decision. So if you look here in Exhibit 3, I had made some reference to this in the appeal because we looked at 277 Beaver. That's the building right next door. That's Corbin's. And what the DRB had originally said was, we'd like you to have wood shingles just like Corbin's. We feel like lap siding is excessively dissimilar. So why don't you have, wood shingles? This here is the decision back from 2016. And I'll take you through here. There's just a little part that I highlighted. These are findings of fact that the DRB made with respect to that application. And 277 Beaver actually did have lap siding, but then switched to wood shingles. And as a part of the fact finding, the DRB found, if you look here, these are the same criteria that we're dealing with. Is it a void monotonous similarity, or is it excessively dissimilar? They said it's fine. It had been met. It had been met. Again, the proposal was, can we put wood shingles next to lap siding? And the decision was, yeah, that's fine. That's not excessively dissimilar. Same thing with D down here, same finding. So I thought that it was interesting that the finding was pretty much the exact opposite of what we arrived at in late 2021 or 2022, I guess. So, and then another interesting point is number F here. I understand too that as a part of the decision we're talking about here today, the Ireman decision, that the DRB had found this was in a transitional area, same building, same area. They found that right here, it just didn't apply. So these are findings of fact that, as I'm basically going through them, are unfortunately exactly contrary to the findings of fact that happened just recently with the Ireman building. The last point, so to sum up that last point, number 2, it wasn't dissimilar then. It wasn't a problem then. It shouldn't be a problem now as far as lap siding and wood shingles to coexist next to each other. This is the third and final point here. I feel like there are some issues here with the applicability and DRB's, the DRB doesn't necessarily have to make a decision on this as far as the siding issue. I understand there are other aspects of this application, for example, the windows, the door, the stuff like that. But as far as the siding goes, all that Ms. Ireman had actually requested was, I want to replace the siding. I don't want to turn it into something new. I don't want to create new construction materials. I don't want to even put a different kind of siding on there. I want lap siding for lap siding. So if you go through, oh, excuse me, I'll go back here. On that last point, I wanted to show everybody something, by the way. This is Exhibit 4. This is what Corbin's used to look like before that 2016 decision. And again, that decision was that if you want to put wood shingles there, it's not too different from this one over here, we're okay. So moving on, this is the applicability of this aspect of the third condition in the first place. So I just went back and I looked up section 1744020. And the question really was, if you're just replacing one construction material with another for lap siding, is that even an alteration in the first place? So I looked at 1744020, and it talks about alterations. And alterations are really the only thing that the DRB should really have any decisive jurisdiction over. And it's these kinds of things here: an alteration to a non-residential use, an alteration to site improvements, an alteration to this kind of stuff. And then I looked a little bit further into what does the word alteration mean? And that's 1704030. It's a change in construction. And when it's a change in construction, it's a change or addition or a modification in instruction. There's no change here. Again, lap siding for lap siding. So it's not really an alteration in the first place and shouldn't really be subject to even approval or necessarily need approval through the DRB as a threshold type of a question. Now, I'll move on here to Exhibit 6. This is what the building looks like, at least as of 2021. And the proposal here is in the last exhibit. I believe it's an aquamarine, but I'll let Ms. Ireman correct me on that.
Yeah, I have actually adjusted the color from the original one that I had shared first. Reason being is I considered the advice of the board and decided that a richer, more sophisticated color such as this, which is called Dragonfly, which actually I have seen other buildings in Cannon Beach, which are similar color. So it would kind of be complementary, yet be contrasting in this particular area. And I think that it very much is a very appropriate color for the area and is very nice. So I'm hoping that it will be considered. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you. So this is Dragonfly, not aquamarine, so.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. I think it looks great though. I think that this color choice should hopefully increase kind of the allure of the neighborhood, whether or not it's in a transitional area. I understand that it's very important that we keep a certain level of attractiveness, especially in Cannon Beach, and that it's important. And I know that Miss Ironman is really trying to adhere to that. There are those other issues, though, that we want to keep in mind, like fire safety and the other things that I talked about as far as going to, wood shingles versus siding. This kind of look here that you're seeing in Exhibit 7 can be extremely attractive, I think, and it can also be fire safe at the same time. And then for all of the reasons that I just described, we're hoping that the DRB will reconsider that third condition and allow Miss Ironman to utilize this color here and this lap siding as it's proposed in Exhibit 7. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other proponents? Are there any opponents?
I'm curious. I don't know when I'm allowed to speak. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you're, now, Michelle, you can ask the questions now. You would go into a discussion after after he closes the hearing, but if you have questions for the applicant or staff, you can make those questions now.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Do you have a question, Michelle?
I'm looking. I don't think I have any questions.
Okay. All right. How about a staff response? Any?
Do you have anything?
I do not.
I would just clarify that, I think this is an alteration. From my understanding, when the application was made, that it was a different, it wasn't like for like, I agree with Christian that it's a same style as what they were wanting, and would I defer to his reasoning on that switching to the shingle is a different kind of level of it's going into somewhat of designing. So, but it was an alteration. It wasn't just the same material that they're replacing. And honestly, someone can ask for a minor alteration on something like that, Christian. But I just want to clarify that from staff's perspective, this is definitely, especially when that language is taken in context as windows and all that, it's an alteration. So that's why, I believe that even switching to the hardy plank from what it is currently, I think it's a vinyl type of material. That is also, but I'm happy to hear Jillian or Christian speak to that.
Well, let me point out that, and these plans are kind of hard to read, but the number 2, the new hardy cement comp-lap siding with 6-inch exposure. Now, if they were just going to repaint the existing hardy plank, we wouldn't really have anything to say about it, right? I mean, it would be, it'd just be a color change that doesn't come under our purview, or it does.
I don't think it is a hardy plank currently. That's my understanding.
Well, I guess my reasoning was that if they're going to replace all the hardy plank on the existing building, which is it's already hardy plank, they're going to tear it off and put new hardy plank on. I was the one that said, well, if it's not that much more expensive, why not just do shingles? And that was my idea at the time. Based on what happened with the M&M building downtown, the Cannon Beach Mall. So I think we do have the ability. I mean, I guess I disagree with Christian that we do have the ability to require that change if we want to, but that's what we're going to talk about after we hold the hearing or close the hearing.
I do have one additional question.
Okay.
What is the current exposure reveal on the siding and what is the proposed? Are they the same?
The exposure, what did you say?
The overlap of the lap siding, what is it now? And
The
what is it
spacing.
going to be?
Oh, Jillian, Miss Ireman, do you know?
I believe the same. I mean, that's the intention, is to have it basically look the same.
That's typical, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do want to speak to some of those points. You know, when I lay out, all of these points, my intent is not always to say I'm right about everything. That's just kind of my lawyer mind by just covering our bases here and putting things on the record. Whether or not the DRB feels like it has jurisdiction over the applicability, I think the important part here really is that there are sound reasons for wanting this hardy plank siding and for this particular color, of its cost, some of its fire safety, that sort of a thing. And to a certain extent, when you have constructions and materials, especially when stuff starts to phase out and reach the end of its useful life, they improve it. They make it more fire safe, they make it more durable, that sort of a thing. So in essence, when you do replace materials with like materials, it probably will never be the same thing. And I'm kind of glad that it isn't, because it should be better, safer, and more durable. So to an extent, though, I think that's really all that Ms. Ireman is trying to do, is get that same look, again, the same spacing as far as we understand, and to do it in a way that makes the most sense, I would say, from the price and safety standpoint.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? And I'll close the public hearing and open it up for board consideration. I guess I'll start. I think that what's being done here is a vast improvement over the building as it is. It's taking off all of those, can you go back to the existing building
Yes.
photo? There we
Yeah.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah, hard to read these plans, but taking off the shingles, replacing the windows, replacing the door, the cover over the doorway. I think that's all great. Larger windows on the lower level. It was really a pretty pardon me, a pretty ugly building when it was done back in the 80s or 90s or something like that. But so I'm willing to consider or consider the lap siding as a reasonable use of material. I think I think what, in my view, it boils down to is the color. And I don't know if we can show the aquamarine compared to this dragonfly, but I'm not sure that the dragonfly is a few clicks down in terms of kind of visual pop, if you know what I mean. I mean, it seems like it's pretty bright. Most of it's much brighter than, obviously much brighter than that. And the shingles, I mean, the reason I mentioned the shingles was because, if you're driving around Cannon Beach downtown, I mean, except for the conference center, almost every building has cedar shingles on it. And I think that's by design and a preference of the property owners, because they want to make it look, their buildings look like, a coastal town. But we don't have to have, we've made some exceptions in the past. I think we made some big mistakes with the conference center myself. I mean, I was here for that, and I regret it. But I think, I think we could live with this if the board is happy with basically coming down to the color, or do you want, do we want something a little more muted than that? Even so, Alicia.
I'd like to make a motion specific to condition number 3, and then if we want to talk about color, maybe handle that separately.
Sure.
I move that we rescind motion number 3. Whatever condition number 3, sorry, better word.
Do I hear a second, Michelle?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now we can talk about the color.
Do we have jurisdiction on color?
For a major redo like this?
Yeah, don't you have the standard there, Robert? Read the standard for color. It should be in the staff report.
Correct. Under 1744-090 architectural design evaluation and criteria. I'm looking for the exact letter here. Give me a second. I'm under number C. The proposed materials and colors are compatible with the character and coastal setting of the city.
There you go. So, I mean, it's an aesthetic judgment. I mean, it's completely, unless we had a color palette, and some cities do. I mean, some cities say you shall. I'm sure Nantucket or Provincetown or some fancy place in California says you're required to use these colors, or you're limited to these colors, but we don't have that in our code. It's a matter of design review board interpretation. So go ahead.
I know that.
Michelle, I think wanted to say something. Are you okay?
Michelle?
Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt.
No.
Well, I guess I kind of had a question. I guess page 14 of the lawyer guys, where it said his exhibit was this project is likely to become a village landmark. And I know that it said not applicable, NA, can't say applicable, but I do feel like this is a village landmark. It's one of the first buildings you'll see when you come into town. And I don't think the color that she's picked, and I feel bad for her because I don't feel like we have ordinances really put in place for her to palette for her to pick from. But I don't find that this color really is representative of Cannon Beach. And I think that I just spent a little time looking at this today, and I just spent some time looking at like cedar shingle Pantone colors that would actually, in my opinion, really go with the entire aesthetic of the downtown businesses. And I understand that she's trying to stick out, but I think that that's not really the downtown business aesthetic here. And the color that she's picked, again, the dragonfly color, I feel like is still a little bit too bold of a color for, especially next to a shingled to the Corbins. I just feel like it sticks out too much and it doesn't go. It feels like it's for another coastal town. Yeah, maybe it's a coastal town color, but not Cannon Beach. If that sounds correct. Okay, that's it.
So any further?
Well, I probably have some not super popular opinions. Sorry, Mike. I guess I take a little bit longer view of it. And when I was a little girl and was in town, our cabin was bright pink and had red trim on it. I found a picture of it the other day. It was ridiculous. My parents and their friends joked about the painted ladies along Ocean Avenue between like Adams and Monroe or Madison. There were a bunch of really multicolored green and blue and a purple, and it was the 70s and they were crazy looking colors. I used to tell my kids, I don't care what you do to your hair. You can color it, you can spike it, you can do anything you want to it because it's not permanent and it's going to change. Times are going to change, trends are going to change. You got to wait till you're older to tat your body up, right? So nothing permanent on paint color. It's going to change and it'll be painted again in a few years. So it doesn't give me a lot of heartburn. I will say, Jillian, thank you for taking our thoughts from last meeting into consideration. I appreciate that. I was a little silent during that meeting because I was being the chair and so I wasn't really commenting a lot. I think it's hard as an applicant to know where to push and know where to, and what you did was you tried to accommodate some of our words, and I appreciate that effort very much. I think as we move toward the code audit, this is another area where it's very difficult as a board to navigate that area when it's all very based on opinion. And so I think it makes us vulnerable as a board to appeal. And I appreciate very much, I don't know how to say your last name, but your first name is Christian. You've been very respectful and kind in explaining all your reasoning and very clear about, how you interpret all that. And I appreciate that as well. So personally, I'm not going to vote on picking a paint color or influencing paint color because I don't feel strongly about that. We've got some houses that have had some brighter colors recently, and color is going to become an issue for the community, I think, that we need to address probably through a process.
Yeah.
I question though, that you're just talking about houses, not businesses.
I'm
And,
talking about all of it.
okay, okay,
It's all of it.
okay.
And I don't feel that we have enough to go on to say that color doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like more options of colors than just these bold colors, in my opinion. I do feel like we need to, I don't know what we're changing the code, but I do feel like we do need to actually make some restrictions on colors, because that is actually the aesthetic of downtown is basically cedar color. So just if we're letting people just have at it with, oh, I'm going to be turquoise, I'm going to be pink, then it kind of changes everything downtown.
It would. And I'm not suggesting that we go there. I'm just suggesting that 30 years ago, or 50 years ago, things were very different.
Yeah.
And they probably will be 50 years from now. And sometime in there, trends might change or they might not. Maybe everyone will love having shingles forever and white trim and it'll stay the same. It could happen, right? The only other thing I would say to Ms. Ireman is that if there's sort of a general community sense that that is a bright color, when we go through our code audit process, it will probably become an example that people speak to. And for me personally, that would be hard. I wouldn't want people, I almost feel like my property came up the other day because of something I said in a meeting and it came up as an example and I was embarrassed, right? And so I don't want that to happen to you. So I just want to say that out loud. I'm not making a threat. I would never bring it up. I'm just saying it's a possibility that could happen in the future. Just maybe think about that.
Just like the purple house, which I don't think's bad. Everyone else does. So
Right.
anyhow,
I don't mind
I did want to suggest from a staff perspective, a couple of ways forward here is, Mike, you can decide to do what you want to do, but, I'm seeing where this might take us, but, is to decide one way or the other on going with the blue or another blue. But another alternative is to let Ms. Ireman bring back 4 to choose from, and then you guys at the next time, especially, we can even make a special call meeting if we want to rush it, but to allow you just to choose on one. But I mean, this to me is, I'm with you, Alicia, that it's very difficult when it's just color. It's not some sort of a palette to choose from, or
it's been self-policing.
Yeah.
Mostly. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, Jeff. And I would like, I think Ms. Ireman is, has gotten the major reason, the major issue off the table, and that was the shingles. So we've gotten rid of the shingles, and but I still think we need to see a few more color chips that we can talk about.
So, yeah, and so could we just suggest 5? Would that be
5
within a blue range? And then, and can I ask the applicant, are they okay if we come back next month, or would you like us to try for a special call meeting to do it in a week or so?
Well, honestly, yeah, I would love to have a decision finalized just so I could move forward. So if we could do it sooner than next month, that would be great.
Okay, we'll look into that and try to get something before that.
I mean,
Does it have to be blue? Can we try to match this shingle color, or does it have to be this other coastal color, I would say? I mean,
it doesn't. No, I mean, I don't think we're limiting him.
oh, because I thought I heard him say blue.
That was Jeff's.
Oh, okay.
I think that's just what the applicant was wanting. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, in terms of a special meeting, I mean, the construction's is gonna take months anyway. I mean, to get the old siding off and the new siding on. I mean, the painting isn't gonna happen for probably 6 months, Jillian, but so I'd like to stick with the next meeting.
And the decision, like you said, is made. We'll just would you like to make a condition saying bring back the color palette, 5 color palette, and at the next meeting?
A motion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to do that, Alicia?
Is it possible?
Or Michelle?
Christian, do you have something? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interact. I just saw that Ms. Ireman had something to say, so I wanted to give her a chance.
Yeah, I am just questioning I am concerned if I bring in 5, that what I will get is just whatever the lightest is. That is my concern. That's quite a range. But I mean, can I bring in, I'll bring in several different colors if that's okay, rather than maybe specifying a number.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, does somebody want to make a motion to do that, to allow Ms. Ireman to bring in some colors, and we can talk about it at the March meeting?
I make a motion to bring in some colors. I don't know how to do it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Jillian.
All right. And Christian, you've earned a job. If you want to operate the slideshow next month, you're welcome to do that.
I'm not that good at it, but thanks for the offer. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So,
All for the agenda.
that it. Any discussion items?
Yeah, we do.
We need to sign orders.
Yeah.
There were, some
Sign order.
minors, yeah. Do I hear a motion to allow the chair to sign orders?
So moved.
Michelle?
Oh, second?
Yeah, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. And what else, Jeff, you said?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, just remind everyone that March 2nd, I think, is the date for the joint work session, and hopefully you can make that. I think that we'll do it again. If from what I heard, it will be the similar that we'll accommodate in person if you can make it, but we'll also do the Zoom. And then
Just specifically to talk about house size?
this one will be about the process going forward is the first half of the meeting. Second half meeting will be about house size issue.
Okay.
And then the next thing is the transportation system plan. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at those preferred alternatives, we have Tech Memo 6 that's available on the TSP.com website. And that will have a online interactive open house starting in March as well. And it'll be on those preferred alternatives and setting some priorities. Okay.
All right.
And then the last thing is, I think Alicia mentioned Christian and what a great job he did. But, the difference, a well-presented application from a professional makes a world of difference. And, I think that this community has become accustomed to not having the best of representatives. And I want to applaud the applicant and Christian for bringing forward at least a well thought out application.
Yeah. Although I have to say the plans that were originally submitted were pretty hard to read and were, could have been, it looked like they were drawn by an architect, or a designer, but I thought they were, lacking.
Yeah. But I want to, as Alicia brought it up, I think we have some work sessions we should have as part of this code audit.
Yep.
Not as part of the joint group, but talk about, what we want to see as far as that application materials and the standards we want to set. And I think we're going to be doing that with the Planning Commission as well. And so I think this is a perfect opportunity that when we do this code audit, also what we want to do on that side of things. And I think Michelle, had the conversation with Alicia, also on the training and education side, and the materials we'll be posting as well. Because now we have a true planner that we got some extra help and.
We're going to load him up.
Yeah. So
A true planner as opposed to what? You?
yeah, me, exactly.
It really makes the work of the board a lot smoother to have complete applications. It makes it easier for the staff. It makes it easier for our decision-making when everything's well documented, and I will do whatever I can to help us get there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Anything else? Let me see. I saw Jan's on the call, see if she had anything for good of the order, if we're in good of the order. Jan, do you have anything?
I'm good tonight. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Adjourn.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks. Bye.
Is there a way to address color that talks about intensity of color as opposed to, is there a thing like that instead of shades? Whatever?
Oh, yeah. You mean like
A good one.
intensity or luminosity type?
Yes.